This is so fun.
Mucho excited. Yeah, no, I
This
think
is
that's
fun. That's fine.
that's fine.
That's fine,
That's
isn't
fine.
it?
That's fine.
Let's be honest.
And then what we'll do is we'll just play around with the angles a little bit.
When? Throughout it?
No,
or
not,
next time?
Not now, next time.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because we didn't.
If there is a next time.
We listen.
I'm joking.
We didn't tart up this wall for no reason, now did we?
No. Okay, hello everybody. Today's live has a purpose. I mean, most of them have purpose, but this one has a special purpose, right?
This one has a special purpose. What I'm going to do is I'm going to log into the live.
Yeah. So
and I'll let you explain what's going on. So I'm not ignoring everyone. I'm just.
Okay. So I want to say maybe like the beginning of the year, Frankie and I decided that we wanted to maybe start a podcast. We came up with a name and like a theme and like decided what we were going to talk about. That is called The Marriage Bed, which is what this is. But then we decided to just do it on a live so that you guys could be a part of the conversation in real time.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much that. It was either going to get recorded and edited.
Yeah.
Or it was just going to get done live,
Be alive.
all in one go, you know, and see what works out better.
Exactly. Now, I do believe...
So what do? Do I write the title, right? And then you... And
I can
then
pin
you
it. I think so.
Okay. Another thing, guys, is...
Someone said nice beard, by the way.
Well, thank you very much. The title is going to be the title. And then will only really be... I'm going to be looking at the questions here.
Yes.
But I'm only going to be anything that... It has to be related to the title.
So basically, today's... Spit it out now. Today's topic of discussion is relationships. And everything to do with relationships. We have been together for 9 plus years now, because we're in our 10th year together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've had relationships before you, you've had relationships before me. So, you know, I feel like we're in a good place to
preach.
I wouldn't say preach.
For lack of better words.
I wouldn't say preach. Just give our own opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
On situations.
No, I totally agree. That's a fair statement. You know,
right?
We're going to concentrate on what we're going to try and concentrate on what works, how to make a relationship work, rather than, you know, just get lost on how it can fuck up. Basically.
Right, exactly. Okay, so we've kind of split it up into like 3 different sections. So like short-term goals, mid-term goals, and then the long-term goal.
Yes.
Okay? Because just for ease, like that's how we would think about it if we was to be single again.
So let's bang up the title. Because who does the title? You do the title, right?
I mean,
or
guys...
do I do the title here?
Guys, we're new to this, so I'm not really 100%.
Yeah, we're going to bang up the title.
How do I make... Wait.
Do you know what we should have done?
What?
Copy and pasted it straight away.
What do you mean?
So all you have to do is copy and paste it, like writing it down. But it doesn't matter.
Let's try this.
We're just setting everything up, guys. Don't worry, I will go through the questions that are related to a relationship, and we'll answer them.
And then, how do I pin this? How do you pin something? Aha! I figured it out. There we go. It's pinned at the bottom. I said, let's talk relationships.
Let's talk relationships. Yeah, there it is. Fantastic.
Okay. So first of all, dating.
Okay, look, this and nowadays dating is one thing.
Before
it was another thing, but it can still be a mixture of both. What I mean by that is you can date online, right?
Yes.
And you can still stop people in the street and have a chat in the street and really sort of see what you're buying.
Because when
for lack of better terms,
when we were both single, dating apps were not a thing.
They weren't. No, they were just coming in 2012. So yeah, we never really got the time to use dating apps. So, but we've heard a lot of good stories and bad stories. So I reckon we can comment on that too.
Yes, my closest friends are on dating apps, and all I've heard is it asks you all these questions to put in your profile. What picture do I put up? Like, what photos do I use?
But what I'm trying to say, everyone's like, okay, you know, Tinder and all these apps, right? Sure they say that, you know, there's a specific group of people that are just looking for sex, okay?
Tinder. I've heard Tinder mostly.
Okay, so let's break people into two categories, right? People that are looking for sex,
right,
and people that are actually looking for a relationship. Okay, how do you tell those apart? And this goes back to the red flag system.
100%.
Okay, so you use.
I've never really heard of the red flag system before you.
I've been using the red flag system and perfecting it for most of my life. I don't really need it anymore in regards to relationships because I'm set. But I use it for other things like, you know, between friends and between family and whatnot. So I still use the red flag system for things like that. What is the red flag system? The red flag system is if your gut tells you that something's not right, don't aggressively jump on it, but don't ignore it.
Remember it.
Okay, so that's the first red flag. So for example, if the same red flag comes up 3 times for the same subject, that's when you address it. Once you address it, if you don't like what you're getting back, then you're going to have to find a solution. If that solution, sometimes it's parting ways, sometimes that person goes, oh my God, I didn't realise that, you know, that I was doing something that either hurt your feelings or irritated you, do you understand? And some people will change. Me and Natalie went through, in the 9 years, we went through about 3 years worth of adjustment. Okay, the first 2 years was a long distance relationship.
Yep.
And then
which brings a whole host of other situations and bumps in the road. Of course,
because the reality is you could never get to really know someone until they're in your space 24/7. Because that's just the way it is. Until you move in with each other, you'll never really know who you both are. Because, you know, it's that everyone's going to always paint you the best picture of themselves. Naturally. Of course. Why wouldn't you? Of course.
It's true.
But once you're in each other's space, that's when you have to then turn around and go, you have to apologise and say, look, I'm sorry, I need to change this part of me. And we've done a lot of that in the first year of living with each other, of just going, look, this can't go, this can't run, this can't. And how do you do that, though? You do that through not ignoring the red flags. Natalie will have a red flag about me. She'll say, you know, Frankie, you done A, B, and C. You've done it 6 times in a month. Okay,
it's annoying.
I need you to stop doing that. And then I'll be like, oh, I didn't know that pissed you off. Okay, I'll stop doing that. Because remember, anyone who wants to be in a relationship with you, if it's reasonable, they will make those adjustments. Now,
some things are just like...
Because we need to make sure that we say that some things are unreasonable.
Some things are just unreasonable, but that is all down to you and what you will accept and what you won't accept. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like if someone says something like to me, one of my personal red flags is if you say you hate cats. If you're that passionate that you hate cats, that's a red flag for me, and I can't do it.
And that's like a more, say, low-level red flag.
That's a low-level red flag, but I can't do it. I can't, no.
Whereas maybe a higher red flag is not giving you the time that you deserve.
Exactly.
That's a big red flag. It's like every time I call you, you don't answer. Every time I message you don't answer. You're disappearing for most of the week. It's like...
And you pop up out of nowhere. That's a red flag.
That's a massive red flag. It's like this person does not want to be in your presence.
Right.
More often than not.
And then only you can decide how long you're going to let that go on for.
Of course.
Whether you're going to nip it in the bud, whether you're just going to go and do your own thing, or whether you're just going to stick around and see if that other person changes, he or she.
So let's just recap here. Dating, like the first phase. Welcome to London. The first phase, obviously, the short-term goal is really getting to know each other. Let's cut a long story short. Whether you're doing it digitally or in person. It's really getting to know each other and not ignoring those red flags, because that's the crucial stage. That's when you really get to know each other. That's when you really find out who that person is, so that they can go to the next stage. The next stage, sorry.
Yeah.
So you go on a date with someone, they say things you don't like, you jot that down on your invisible notepad. So I'll let that one slide. And then you go on another date, they do it again, jot that thing down as well.
What is that thing that you told me about? You said this is something else that you said is about sometimes you have to categorize people. So if you're someone that's dating, like going on multiple dates with different people, and if you're single, obviously,
and you're mingling,
single and mingling.
If you're singling, you have to mingle in order to find the person that you click with.
But something that you said, which I totally are on board with, and I've advised my friends to do this as well, is to put people in like categories. So some people will be good to go on a date with. Some people you're interested in a relationship with, and that's where it's going. Some people, you know, you might want to have as a link. As long as you're both on the mutual same page of that, then that's cool.
Yeah.
I do feel like it is good to know, like, you don't want to invest your time in the wrong person, basically, is what I'm saying.
So let me wrap that one up for you, yeah? It's basically, if you go on a date with someone, you'd be like, and I'm going to be crude here, this person's only, this is male and female, right? So if you're a woman with a man or whatever, the person who you're on a date with, you're like, this person I can only have sex with. I can't get married to this person because this person is not marriage material. They're not serious, okay?
They're not going in my
But that doesn't mean you need to just
box.
cut them off. You can be like, okay, we can only have a sexual relationship.
Yeah.
This other person is maybe not. No, you know what? I can see a relationship with this person. So what you're doing there, and this other person is just a friend. I can be friends with a person, and then another person is like, I can't see you again. You're killing me.
Yeah.
You understand?
So you're investing your time in the right people.
You're categorizing.
And the most amount of time you're gonna, you know, invest in the person that you want to be with.
Perfect. Because you don't want to spend too much time with somebody who you're basically, you are essentially wasting time. Because if you're looking for a relationship and you're spending a lot of time with a man or a woman who there's only a sexual relationship involved,
it goes back to the red flags. If you didn't notice those red flags and you're investing the time into that person, you're wasting your time. But they could just be a link.
Yeah, and if you categorize them, you won't expect that of them.
Exactly.
You won't expect a relationship out of them, and then you won't get hurt. Well, in theory, you won't get hurt, but it's always a bit painful not to get what you want from the person that you want. Right. However, once you've categorized them, it makes it the blow is a lot easier. Do you understand? Like, and that's what it is. So anyway, I'm gonna go through some of these comments now. We'll take a little break. Have a little bit of water and that.
I don't know where my water is.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Do you want to have some of mine?
The big boy.
Right, guys, just going through some of these comments. I'm only gonna be.
I did see someone say that. I think it was in regards to like dating apps and stuff. Like they're catfishes. All these filters nowadays. Do you know what I mean?
Have a look if there's any. Again, I'm gonna ignore any comments that aren't related to
what we're talking about.
Yeah. When are you guys getting married? Okay. I mean, that is relationship related.
We are getting married.
It'll be next year. It'll be next year, early next year, but we're not going to disclose the date just yet.
Yeah, but there is going to be loads of like wedding content and stuff on YouTube if you're interested in that.
Okay, next one is, how old were you when you got together?
How old was I? It was in 2012.
Look,
the end of 2012.
Roughly, you would have been about 22.
Yeah, 22.
And I would have been about
20. I'm turning 23, you turning 24.
Yeah, and I would have been about 24. Keep in mind that now I'm 33, and Natalie is 168.
Shut up. But we have known each other since 2008.
Yeah, we have.
So we knew each other before we got together.
When I first laid eyes on Natalie, she was 19, ladies and gents. She was 19.
We had the same friend group at university. We all used to hang out every now and again. Then you decided that you didn't want to be at uni anymore. But we still stayed in contact.
Okay, so everyone catfishing. Catfishing is a serious issue because, you know, at the end of the day, that's the problem with the digital stuff.
Yeah.
To the fact that, you know, what you're seeing on the picture
might not be what you're actually going to get.
Might not be exactly. But you know what? Don't take that too deep. You go on a date with someone, they're not what you thought they were visually. You have a nice time, and then you just say, this is what categorizing people. Mm-hmm. This is somebody who maybe you're never going to see again, or you never know, you might have made a friend. You know what I'm trying to say? That's what it is. It's not always about, you know, visually, it wasn't what you wanted, but it could end up being a friend. That's
why I feel like if I was ever to be single again, which we're not going to be because we're getting married and we're together forever.
Oh yeah, we're not going to be single.
That I would want to go out there in the world, like meet someone in a supermarket, in the gym, in a club, in a bar, in a restaurant. Do you know what I mean?
So somebody
down
said,
the street.
So sorry to cut you up. Yeah. Somebody said, what do women want in a man? And look, that's such a hard question to answer. It is,
because every woman's going to want something different.
Just like every man is going to want something different.
Everyone's going to want different things aesthetically. and also like personality, emotional wise. Like obviously, like I said, you know, if you say you absolutely hated cats, like obviously that's a strong word. If you say you didn't like cats, and you know.
But then there's the opposite to you, which might be a woman who'd be like, if you don't like dogs,
then I can't be exactly.
So in regards to that question, what do women want? It's not what women want.
As a general,
it's what people want.
Exactly.
Every person wants different things.
But as a general, everyone's going to want someone that's going to be honest and communicative, basically.
Look, there's basics. The basics is honesty.
Yes.
You have to be somewhat honest. And I'm not talking about, you know, tell me what's in your bank account, you know, honest. I'm talking about just the basics. You know, my real name, you know, roughly where I live, okay, just not being shady, not being shifty straight away from the beginning. Because remember, if somebody's being dodgy, then there's always something behind that, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, red flag, somebody said, soon as I see it, I run.
I mean, if it's one of your big ones, one of your ones that's just like alarm bells, no, I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Then obviously, run. But if it's just little ones, I feel like sometimes people... there's no relationship that's perfect from the beginning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's going to be red flags that you can either grow with, or that person can change or amend or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Or they'll just not become a big deal anymore.
Yeah. No, exactly. Because some red flags, because remember, this is another thing. Something might be a red flag for you, but when you have a conversation with the person involved, it might turn out that you were looking at things slightly wrong. Yeah. So it wasn't actually a red flag. It's just the way you saw this specific thing. And
then you realise
was
it's
a bit
really
distorted.
Does that make sense?
Huh?
Then it's not really that.
And it's not that big of a deal, because when you have a whereas maybe having a conversation might just be like, oh no, this is definitely a red flag, and I don't want to go any forwards. Yeah.
Any more?
Let me have a little look. Again, guys, I'm not going to answer anything that's not related to the main thing. You two are beautiful together. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very nice thing to say. It is related to relationships, so I will read it out. What do men want as top 3 aspects, not visually? I speak for myself as a man.
Go on.
Not visually. Again, it's this. Do you know what? We want the same things. We want honesty first and foremost. Yeah. Me personally, I like some flexibility in a person. I don't like a stubborn person. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you said you never wanted to go to, it's a random example. If you said you never wanted to go to Tokyo, but I do,
and you
open your mind to it a little bit and be like, let's go to Tokyo, let's see what all the fuss is about. And don't be like, you know, I don't want to do it. I always said I wasn't going to do it, so I'm not going to do it.
See, that's why I think that me and you we work really well together, because I'm really open-minded.
You are. Natalie is really flexible in many ways.
I'm just chill.
So it's important to be have a relatively flexible personality. Obviously, again, the first one is honesty, full transparency. I need someone that's going to be honest with me and tell me, you know, if I ask you a question, you know, I'm going to want you to give me a real answer. The third one, let me think. I mean, what do I want? It is, when you think about it, it's like when you've got honesty and flexibility, it's like everything can be built on that. Mm-hmm. But personality-wise, I do like a sense of humour.
Yeah.
In a woman. You know what I mean? Like somebody that's just gonna. I mean, Natalie is a hot crowd. Okay, so Natalie's very easy to just make giggle and whatnot. So that's really cool. I do like somebody that has somewhat of a sense of humour. Do you know what I mean? And then it goes down all the way to other things. But those are 3 things. So a nice sense of humour. You know, some sort of flexibility within the personality and honesty. Mm-hmm. You know, honesty is just priceless. You know, if you give it, you get it back. You're high flying, right? I hope that answers your question, Mr. Silver. All right. What do you think about who should pay
on a first date?
Okay, so what do you think about who should pay on a first date? Go on, Natalie. What do you think? We'll give each other our opinions.
In this day and age, I feel like if, say for instance, I was the one that asked you out, I'm asking you out on a date, I would offer to pay.
Okay.
If you've asked me out on a date, I would expect you to pay, especially if you've planned it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If you're really like you know, hard and fast about things, then obviously going Dutch is cool. Like, I wouldn't mind doing that because it just, you know. But I also feel like that's like an omen to the relationship, the date. It's like, let's just split it because, you know, I'm not really vibing it. Do you know what I mean?
I like to say that I'm modern, but in regards to things like this, I mean, if it's a first date, yeah, and more often than not, yeah, I mean, I've never really been asked out on a first date, so usually it's always been me. So I pay. You know, I pay whether the date goes well, I pay whether the date goes bad. I pay because I asked you to come out. Do you understand? So it makes sense that I pay.
That's how I see it.
As for going Dutch, I think that's a relationship thing. So therefore, once you're in a relationship and you both know, you know, where you lot are financially, then there's nothing wrong with going Dutch. I'll be honest with you, me and Natalie have never done that, just because we quickly moved in with each other, and when we didn't,
we take it in turns. Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, in the first phase, I probably paid more. I can't remember the times that you paid. You know, but that's not because of you.
Yeah, no, but
that's
listen, when I used to come down to London, I used to go shop, buy like bunch of
that
stuff,
little bit. I'm talking about
in.
going on a date though, going out, sitting down at the table.
Because you asked me out.
Of course, I know.
You are paying.
Yeah. I asked you out. Yeah, but you know, okay. You know what I mean. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about 2 years into it. Do you understand? Like, I'm talking about pulling out your card and making a payment. Like, you know, I'm not saying that you didn't do that.
Well, we share finances now.
Exactly,
so.
but the fact of the matter is this: like, I'm that sort of person.
You are, to be fair.
And that's not me blowing my own trumpet. I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I think there is a little tiny bit of old-fashionedness still in me.
But I also think it's because you're Italian as well.
I don't know why it is, but I understand that some women get offended by that. I get that.
I don't.
But I would respect that. If a woman turned around and said to me, "Look, buddy, you've already paid twice, I want to pay now," and that's that. I'm not having it. I'm not having you paying every single. Or if somebody said, "Look, I want to pay, go halves. I don't care whether you ask me out. I'll respect that." That goes back to one thing, Natalie. Communication.
Exactly.
Communication is important. If something's irritating you, say it. There's a nice way to. You don't have to be rude. There's a nice way to say it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Anyway, so that answers the first date. Also a big question. Forgive cheating or not? This is a good one.
Listen.
In a nutshell now.
Listen.
It really does depend.
It really does depend. It actually really does depend.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because when I was younger, I was like, no, I wouldn't. I'd leave straight away. If they were gonna cheat once, they're gonna do it again. And some people, that is the case, and they will just keep doing it. But you really do have to isolate each relationship, each situation. It's
so individual, because there's cheating because of a miscommunication, and there's cheating because somebody's devious. Dishonest and devious. Does that make sense? So it's so varied. What I say for me is, because I'm such a good communicator, but if for whatever reason there was some sort of miscommunication and somebody could explain to me why we got to where we got now, where, you know, you've gone and done what you've done, then we can move forward from that, because it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It's only a big deal if somebody's being deceptive even after. Remember another thing: if you give somebody a chance when they, it's not about the act of cheating, it's the act of being deceptive.
Yeah.
Because even if you went to the shop, right, and you came back and you were to come back with £5 change, and you came back with £2.50, and you started lying, that's, believe it or not, guys, yeah, that's just as bad as cheating, you know, because that's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Understand? Like, just
what
be
else are they
honest.
Gonna lie
be
about?
honest about what's happened, and that's it. Because when you can be, when somebody's, this is the way I see it now. If you're gonna be honest, we can move forward.
It's true.
If you're going to be dishonest, how can we move forward? You're still lying.
Yeah, because you'll always be like, okay, are they telling the truth this time? Or are they lying? Or like, what's going on? Like, you're always going to second guess.
Exactly.
And that's going to make you go crazy.
So listen, I'm not going to lie to you, but once somebody's been dishonest to the point that they've gone off and done what they've done, they're skating on, if you do give them a second chance, they're skating on thin ice. Mm-hmm. They really need to prove themselves there. So even the slightest of disrespect, will cancel your own contract.
Yeah.
Do you understand? If I was in that situation, I ain't been in that, but if I was, I'd say, no one thing in it, I give you another chance, once you're doing something wrong, just know you've cancelled your own contract. I don't even need to break up with you.
The thing is, though, it's happened in my family. There's been people in my family who have been, disloyal,
and
shall we say, within the marriage. They dealt with it, and they moved past it, and they're still they're still together, literally, 10 years down the line.
So this is a good one. What do you think about the phrase "don't do wife duties until wifed up"? Do you get that?
Yes, I do agree with this. Why should I wash, like, actual duties?
Okay.
Or sexual?
No, just actual duties.
Okay, actual duties. Why should I do your washing and stuff if we're not in a relationship like that?
I don't think it's just washing.
No, I know.
Because that's something.
That was just
men wash their clothes too. What I'm saying to you is don't treat a man like don't treat you what do you think about the phrase "don't do wife duties until wifed up"? As a woman, right? Don't treat him like your man. Does that make until he is your man?
Right.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Because if you start giving that person,
that's what I'm saying.
Because they've won.
Exactly. They're getting everything without the title.
Because wife duties, which means that the way I treat you is like I treat you like family.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Like, because remember, your closest family member, and this may be a bit controversial, will always be your wife or your husband. No one's gonna die with you the way they will. Does that make sense? No one. Everyone's gonna go off and live their life, including your parents and anyone else. Like they have to. No one's gonna be as close to you as your husband, as your partner. So therefore, if I start giving you that role, and you haven't even claimed me,
it's not happening.
It's not happening. It's a serious role, and plus you get a lot of perks to that. Because remember one thing, innit? Because if my wife asks me for something, I got you. Same way as if you vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So your wife or your husband will ask you for something, I got you. Now when I say wife or husband, it doesn't mean you have to be actually married.
In a committed relationship.
In a committed relationship. If your partner, who's actually your partner, needs your help, I got you. No matter what. No, I don't even think about it twice. Mm-hmm. Now remember, there's some people that will abuse of that position. So you can't give them that position until they've earned it. They need to earn it, and earning it takes time. You can't get that. It takes time. First of all, if we're not living with each other, and you're not trying to make trying to make things work so that we can live with you, because living with each other is the main thing. If you're not living with each other, how can you develop a serious relationship?
It's true.
And I don't care about where everyone's living. We're gonna have to either meet halfway, or you come to me, or I come to you. We have to make this happen, because that's the only way that we can get into a serious relationship and get to know each other. Now, a lot of people are scared about it. We're gonna go on to that next thing. That's the midterm goal. We're gonna touch on that.
He gets well excited, guys. Don't you?
Mm.
There's a little side road for you to take down. You're gonna go down it and come back round again.
Someone said, I have to ask a question. My relationship has not on big good tracks. Okay, yeah, ask away.
Remember that name in case they have.
But when I say it nicely, my boyfriend gets upset and says I'm trying to argue.
What was the beginning of that?
No, I don't think she hasn't been specific about why it's off tracks. But I understand you don't want to get because I understand.
Yeah.
But basically, they've got an issue in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
And when she tries to bring it up to him, he says to her, look, you're just always trying to argue with me. Now look, I don't know what it is, but generally speaking, a couple has to talk.
Yeah.
You have to sit down and talk. Me and Natalie have business meetings. Yes, like we sit down like at least once a week and just discuss things. Maybe even go to a coffee shop and sit down and say, look, what's going right, what's going wrong. I mean, nowadays it's not really about our relationship. It's more about work stuff. But if anything during that business meeting comes up and it goes, look, I hate the way you're always eating my prawn cocktail crisps. Stop doing that, man.
You understand that?
Because Natalie, that's an issue that we had at first, that I was always grabbed. But your partner has to be all ears.
In this situation here, I would
sit them
down. No, but I would sit them down and I would just say, listen, I am not trying to argue with you, but this is making me feel like this, and we need to sort it out. Otherwise, our relationships,
And if that doesn't work,
that's a red flag to me.
I spoke to I was working with at the gym. There was a guy that was he done like sort of behavioural training and psychology and whatnot. And he said to me, if it doesn't work verbally, I know it sounds silly, write them a letter. Say, please read that letter, okay? Because you can't argue with the letter. Does that make sense? So when the person reads that letter, if they don't address what's in that letter, you've got a serious red flag there. Because this is someone that doesn't want to resolve the problem. Anyone who wants a long and happy relationship will do anything to resolve the problem. I don't care what no one tells me. Yeah, anyway. Right. Would you pay for Natalie's nails and hair each time? And Natalie, do you expect that from your partner?
I don't expect that.
I can tell you straight away, Natalie does not expect that. However, you know, look, when you're in a good relationship, if I'm doing better that month, then why not?
Exactly.
If she's doing better that month, then she'll be like, you know, let me get you a pair of kicks or whatever. It really does depend. Because
when we weren't doing social media and we were still sharing money, there was always a budget for me to get my nails done. Yeah.
So basically, I would look at the budget. So basically, we would share our finances, and her getting her nails done is like me getting my trim.
Yes.
So it's part of our outgoings. She has to get them done, and she has to get whatever she needs done in order to make herself, you know, feel better. Likewise, I need to get my trim. So as a couple, this is what I mean about moving in with each other and starting to, you know, get serious. You start to set aside budgets a month to get your nails done, get your trim done. If I buy a pair of trainers, she'll be like, well, I don't want a pair of trainers, but she can take money out to put in her own personal account.
And does that make sense? What I want.
Or we both get a pair of trainers and we're both happy. It really does. We try to keep things straight down the middle, no matter what.
But like you said, if you're not sharing finances and you're doing better one month than I am, then I wouldn't expect you to pay for me. But I also know that you would always offer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Right, so yeah.
Money comes and goes. You can make money back.
So basically, going back to that, if he doesn't want to talk, you know, put it in writing for him. If he doesn't want to read that, personally, if he was my sister, I say you got a problem.
You should be heard in a relationship, and not just shut down. Like, I don't want to argue with you because I feel like it's easy for people to like just throw that. Stop trying to argue with me, and then you'll just shut down because you don't want to argue.
Exactly.
But that's not fair.
Exactly.
Would you say that's
bulldozing?
Yeah.
That's definitely bulldozing, because what you're doing is you're trying to shut down that person's emotional needs because you don't want to deal with it.
Is it in Couples Retreat?
It's in Couples
Retreat. Yeah, don't bulldoze me, man.
Mr. Silver, I understand, but we're ignoring them today because obviously
we've got a topic.
We've got a topic, and this is the best way to do it. Obviously, we're not gonna address all these dodgy comments, especially considering most of them I can't even understand them, to be honest. Somebody said, I'm just going in, and you all make sense to me already. My guy Matt, yes. Right. How to gauge if someone is taking you seriously, especially if you haven't met the family.
Okay.
Personally, because this is a lady asking, and you know.
Yeah, from a man's point of view, yeah. Go on.
Time. How much time is that person giving you? How open are they about their personal life?
How much time
That's how you gauge. That's how you gauge. If you say to somebody, you know, if somebody's not eager to introduce you to their family, unless they've got family issues, that can happen. But unfortunately, some men use that as leverage as well. So I got family issues, but really you just don't want to introduce her to your family.
If they've introduced you to their friends, then that's also a positive, not necessarily just family.
But it's time. How much time are you giving me every week? But I shouldn't have to ask for your time. Does that make sense?
It should just come naturally.
It should be naturally. We're vibing. Does that make sense? We're giving each other time. But also, plans. Like, how many plans are we making for the future? That's also important. I'm not talking about just jumping straight to marriage and children.
That holidays.
Like, let's try a new restaurant together. Let's go and watch a new film together. Things like that. It's just time, really. Time's so important when you're first getting to know someone, because if you can't give me your time, how can you give me your life? Does that make sense? I know it sounds really cheesy, but how can you give me the rest of your life when you can't even give me a bit of time when we're getting to know each other?
Before I moved to London and moved in with you, I would book my holiday from work and come down to London and spend it with you. Like, I used to use my holiday days.
Yeah. Right, we caught up now. Good, let's go to the next thing before the other questions start flying in. Okay, so you got your short-term goal, which is dating, and you got your mid-term
The last
goal.
thing that was on that section was, how do you get into the relationship? How do you approach that conversation with someone? Like, say for instance, we've been dating for, I don't know, 3-4 months, because I would want a label by 3 or 4 months.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. Yeah, if by 3 or 4 months, a label hasn't created naturally, I would have that conversation with someone. Look, it's not a big deal. Look, I know I'm going to say it just randomly. Is this going anywhere? Because I want it to go somewhere. Don't be ashamed to say that to someone. Don't feel that if somebody says, look, I'm not really. Because remember, some people will try and curve you nicely. Don't push it. Don't make them be rude. So if they try to curve you nicely, read between the lines and say, cool.
I would literally just be like, I'm not dating anybody else because, I'm investing my time in you. I would really want this to go somewhere. Where's your head at? What are you thinking?
Yeah, and again, if somebody gives you that answer and your gut doesn't feel it, and it's like, well, this person doesn't want a relationship, that's how you know that they don't want to be in a relationship. And again, don't blame them for it. Even if some people try to because some people are confused. In the first month they do, in the second month they don't. Within 2 weeks they do, then they don't. If somebody's flying like that though, you need to let them fly. Because the problem is, it's a turbulent flight. And you could be, what I always say as well to, maybe like my family members who are having issues, I say, remember, the time that you waste with the wrong person, I know it sounds cheesy, the right person's walking past you. You don't have time for the right person.
Your blinkers are on
for the wrong person.
Your blinkers are on and you're upset and crying about this one person that's just causing you heartache when Mr. Right's walking down the road.
Yeah, and remember another thing.
Or Mrs. Right.
Remember one thing in it. Someone with their head screwed on is more attractive. I'm not talking about looks here. I'm talking about somebody who knows what they want. I'm not a little boy or a little girl anymore. I know what I want and I know what I deserve, and I'm not gonna waste time. But I wish you all the best with your life. That's the best way to do it.
One thing I also want to say is, even if someone does shut you down or curve you a little bit or whatever, just own it and move on.
Move on, yeah, that's another
Try
thing.
not to dwell in that situation.
Yeah.
Maybe you could spend an hour or so just thinking to yourself, okay, where could this have gone a little bit better so I know for next time, but I'm not going to pursue that anymore because they don't want that anyway, so that's cool, whatever, or I don't want that anyway, so that's fine. How can I make the situation better next time?
So I love that. That was beautiful.
Right.
So you're looking at time wise, because people like things very plain. Time wise, you're looking at 3 to 6 months to get into a relationship. If by 12 months this hasn't blossomed into a very happy relationship or the beginnings of a happy relationship, red flag, big red flag. It's a small red flag at 3 months, big red flag, medium flag at 6, and a massive red flag at 12 months. Something's wrong. Something's not working. Okay.
But moral of the story is to definitely not be afraid of having that conversation.
Have that conversation. Again, if after 3 months, I would have that conversation. To be honest with you, because I've given you 3 months of my time.
Did you do it or did I do it?
I think the general feeling with us was we liked each other a long time ago.
Yeah.
And circumstances basically made us go apart, and then it brought us back together again. Everyone's there because Natalie was in a relationship, I was in a relationship, and then those ended, and then me and Natalie sort of gravitated towards each other again. So that's another thing. Just because it doesn't work on the spot, who knows in the future? I mean, me and Natalie got into other relationships.
It's true.
Understand?
I was in a relationship, then he was single, and I was like, I'm in a relationship.
I was in a relationship for 2.5 years.
Then I was single, you was in a relationship, and I was like, cool, no problem, hope you're happy, great.
That's it.
Good for you.
That's it. So that's what I'm trying to say to you. So, it's like circumstances can sometimes bring you lot back together. Anyway, let's go down to the medium. Let's go down to the medium goal is to basically, okay, those 3 to 6, 12 months are over. You're in a relationship. It's time to move in.
Yes.
Okay, it's time to move in and really get to know each other, because this is where you really get to know each other. So, boom, you move in with each other.
Before this, you would have had the conversation about what you want in the future, what you want to do as a career. So you're both like supportive of each other, and you know what there is to come. Maybe. Do you know what I mean by that?
When you move in with each other, is when all the serious conversations happen. Okay, you're gonna.
The other ones are superficial, but this is where it actually means something.
You're gonna watch your wife go to work. You're gonna watch your husband, you're gonna watch your partner go to work. You're gonna watch your partner come back stressed sometimes from work. You're gonna watch your partner have arguments with their family on the phone. Mm-hmm. This is where you really get to see, how you try to, how you lot can really join.
Do you know what it is? It's together. A trial marriage.
Of course, it's basically the playoffs. For the Americans, it's the playoffs. When you move in with each other, that's the playoffs. That's the first year of that year is going to be, you're going to get, look, it's natural to have turbulence, because that's when behavior patterns start clashing. Does that make sense? So, for example, I like to go to bed at one time. She might like to go to bed at another time. I like to eat everything in the kitchen. She might like to ration her stuff. Like,
that is literally...
It sounds silly, but these problems, if they're not dealt with, can come to a head. They can get really serious, like, because it's a build-up. You're not so you address them, problem by problem. Address them.
Also, ladies, leaving the toilet seat up. My dad never left the toilet seat up because he was in a house with 3 women. Okay, this one loves leaving the toilet seat up. The amount of times I've sat on the toilet and like almost fallen in, I do not count anymore.
I'm still bad with that now. Okay,
I'm still bad with that now.
But what it is, is it's one of those things, right? Is when I remember, I do put it down, right? It's little tiny things. If you see someone making an effort, right? And also, as Natalie will turn around and go, hey, look, it's not a big deal. It's not a massive deal. I'll just lower it when I need to lower it. As long as you fucking clean the bathroom, do you understand? And not make me touch anything. As long as the bathroom's always clean, then lowering it is not a problem. Okay, do you know what I mean? But, so the short-term goal is what I'm trying to say. Let me put this plainly. Finding a balance within the house. Finding a balance in the relationship. Because at first, it's all fun and games. Now you have to find a balance. And you have to practice for the whole forever thing.
Yes.
You know, you have to practice.
You're gonna see them ill as well.
You're gonna see them ill. They're gonna get ill. They're gonna be happy. They're gonna be sad. And this is when you're gonna really sort of bounce off each other. So many things are gonna happen throughout your life. That if in the first year you're gonna get loads of tasters of that, little tiny tasters.
And also, if you've been used to, say for instance, you lived on your own for a while and then you moved in with someone, you're gonna have to learn to live with someone again. Yeah.
But also, it's not like living with your friends at university.
No.
You're living with somebody who you have, a different type of chemistry with. Mm-hmm. You know, you have essentially, it's a different type of friend. Remember, your partner should be your friend. You know, your partner has to be your friend. So the chemistry that you have with this type of friend is completely different. Okay, there's going to be male and female products throughout the house. Like, there's so many little things, little adjustments that have to happen.
He hates my hair clips.
I find her hair clips all over the house.
Listen, you leave the
toilet
seat
all over the house. But that's what I'm trying to say. That's a prime example. I'm happy you said that. She's learned how to deal with the toilet seat. I've learned how to deal with these fucking hair clips. They're everywhere. You'll find them in a butt. Listen, I'll open a peanut butter jar, yeah, and I'll find a hair clip in there.
That's not true.
They're everywhere. My disc comes out of my PS, yeah, and there's a fucking hair clip in there. I'm making a tea, I'm pouring in the thing, and there's a hair clip everywhere. Hair clips everywhere. I bet you I can find one right now. No, my God! Look!
Leave me alone!
Look! Fucking hair clip. Right there! Look, I'll find another one, How does it get here? This is my corner as well.
Listen, he hates it when I leave my bra everywhere as well. But when I get home, ladies, you'll vouch for me here. I can't wait to take my bra off. Wherever I am is where it will be. You do it with your shoes though, bro.
I do. My trainers are all over the house. Okay, so these are the tiny little adjustments that you'll make. Let's not go off on one here.
Yeah, okay.
These are the tiny adjustments that you'll make when you're living with someone. And that's it. So I think that the medium goal here is quite easy. It's learning how to blend your lives together to make one life, because one life is what you need. You know, one life when you're together. You know, I'm David Brent now, I'm doing the fingers. But it needs to come together. Your lives need to come together, and that means everything. Okay?
But also in this mid section, like Frankie said, you talk about the future. You talk about all of the nitty gritty stuff, because you're going to talk about marriage and children and buying houses and, you know, growing old together and where you want to retire. Imagine if I didn't want to leave England and you was just like, but why would you want to retire here?
Yeah, spending habits. This is this is a real serious one, guys. Spending habits, because if your partner is got stupid spending habits, you're gonna have a chat about that. Because long term wise, unfortunately, in this world, you need to be able to put money down in order to buy a house, in order to look after a family, in order to for all this sort of stuff. So when you're living with each other, this is when you see your partner's real spending habits. Because if your partner, you know, is spending a lot on this or a lot on that, eventually you're going to have a sit down and go, it doesn't mean you can't buy that, but we do have to sort of like try to make a comprehensive financial plan.
If you buy that, you might not be able to buy this.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. Spending habits can be a break situation, which means that if you can't come to then there's no future.
Most couples will fight about finances.
Of course, it's a terrible thing.
It's a stressful situation.
You're right.
Especially in this day and age when everything's costing more money and, you know, everybody wants everything, but there's not enough money coming in, minimum wage and all of that stuff.
Yeah. So for I'll give you an example, right? Couple sits down, we're having financial problems. What do? We need to work more. Do you understand? We both need to pull our socks up here and make more money
and rein it in until you have got enough money. Make cutbacks.
Make cutbacks here and there. That's it. That's what I'm trying to say. But the moral of the story here is, again, the midsection is the mid part of a relationship is blending your life together and finding a balance in the household. And like Natalie said, making serious plans and sticking with them.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna go through some of the comments now. So I'll give you guys a break. I'm sorry that there's no twerking or anything. Yeah, I haven't waxed, so I don't want to shake my ass on camera for you lot. You probably put you off your breakfast or whatever.
I ate all your pistachios. I ate all your pistachios.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are.
Anything juicy? Anything interesting?
Somebody said, "Are you open to swinging?" Now, I'll answer that. As a couple, we are a very freaky couple, but that's about as much as I'm gonna say. So just, you know, make your own minds up.
You're so funny.
Again, somebody asked again, how do you feel about swingers? I'm assuming swingers where everyone swaps wives, right? We are a freaky couple, and I think sexual evolution in a relationship is very important.
It is for longevity. I definitely do think it is, unless you're both like comfortable and happy where you're at.
If you're comfortable, you are. But if you're partner, if you're one side and you've got something that you'd like to try, talk to your partner about it. Mm-hmm. You know, you never know. You understand? You might find an in between. Does that
give
make
them
sense?
a presentation?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say to you. Because remember one thing, innit? Yeah, this is what I always say to some of my pals, right? For example, why cheat on your wife when you can get freaky with your wife?
Exactly.
Does that make sense? You never know, she might be on it. You know what I'm trying to say? So what's important is that you might find a partner that you can get freaky with, as opposed to scurrying off and getting freaky by yourself and doing...
Or cheating.
And that's what I mean, cheating. Being deceptive when you can get freaky with your partner. So that's the only thing I'm going to say about that.
That's the only thing. Do you ever wish you could sing? I wish I could sing.
If I could sing, I'd want like a one of those rough like man voices, yeah, like wave after wave. Or what's that guy, Lloyd? I just not like that. You know what I'm talking about? He's got that mad like feminine voice, but it sounds
Lloyd.
good. Yeah, he's got a sick voice. He's got a good voice.
What was that album? The cover's like brownie tones. That is it brown tones? I don't know. Anyway, that album was sick.
Somebody said, "How long until you put a ring on it?"
See, this is the next phase. This is the long-term section, marriage.
Yeah.
One of the talking points that I put down was, how do you know that they are the one?
Mm-hmm.
So from my point of view, for me, the reason why I knew Frankie was the one was because my boxes were ticked. I was happy. I didn't have any reservations about the relationship. And as cheesy and as corny as it sounds, I didn't want to live my life without him. Why are you laughing, bro? I'm being really sweet.
Somebody said you've got a grenade as a water bowl. Sorry, I know I weren't going to address anything. That was pretty funny. Okay, so really, I like what you said was beautiful. I love that.
How did you know I was the one?
How did I know that she was the one? And I'll be real with you, yeah? Obviously, you have your physical boxes ticked. Yeah. Okay? Because you've got this far.
That's what I'm saying.
That's obvious, without having to say that.
My boxes were ticked.
So we're both happy with that. Once you realise that, I'll be honest with you, I realised, this is going to sound really cheesy, you know, but I realised that we were friends. And I wanted to spend, when I say friends, I don't mean friend zone friends. I mean lover/friends. It's the most powerful type of relationship where you develop a serious friendship with someone and you've got things in common.
Our relationship wasn't just sexual.
It's not just a sexual thing. Does that make sense? You develop a friend. So therefore, the next step for me is, I want to be with you for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And traditionally speaking, again, I'm not a traditional person, but I do have those elements of tradition that are still there. There's nothing wrong with that. And the next step will be to propose to the person and make it special for her, for yourself, and for you, for both of you as a couple. You know, you're uniting yourselves under the universe or under God. I don't know, you know, whether you're religious or not. And that's really what proposing means. And you'll know that when, again, you've got your physical boxes ticked, but then you have that spiritual box ticked.
Mm-hmm.
You get along with this person. You manage to overcome situations with this person. And you can see yourself, again, cheese alert, yeah? You can see yourself growing old with this person.
Mm.
That's when you say, you know, I want to be with you for the rest of my life.
Can I bring something up? Because there's some people out there that will say, like, it's going back to the red flag situation, and like they say that if you don't get on with my family, then we can't be together. I don't personally like that, because realistically, unless you're living in a house with that said family with your partner, then I can understand that would put a strain on the relationship. But you have to be secure and comfortable in your decision to date this person. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Regardless of what anyone else says, your family, your friends, the local boss man, do you know what I mean? Like, don't care what anybody else says about this person.
Yeah.
You have to be comfortable in your relationship.
No, listen, no one can get in the way of your relationship. Not your family, not your friends, no one. Because at the end, no one's going to look after you the way your partner looks after you. If it's real. If it's real, then that's the person, you know, again, I don't want to sound morbid, but that's the person who you're going to walk into the afterlife with.
But it's not only that. It's once all of your family's gone and when you're sat at home and your friends aren't there with you, it's your partner that's with you.
I'm the judge in my life and my verdict is final. If my family can't deal with my choice, then they got to go, not my partner. That's the way I see it. And this is in regards to a healthy, good relationship. I'm not talking about when your family's trying to help you with a bad relationship.
Yeah.
If the relationship is good and you know they're being unreasonable, whether it's your family or friends, they got to go, because they're negative, hateful people. And they're gonna be detrimental to your relationship anyway. You don't want people like that in your life anyway. I don't care if they're my family or not. Somebody said, "Are you okay with your girlfriend being on OnlyFans?" I suggested to do the OnlyFans. I think my girlfriend is
you
just
can thank him later.
My fiance, whatever. Instagram, OnlyFans, all of this stuff was all my idea anyway. So it is what it is. I love taking photos of her. I think she's stunning.
And I like getting dressed up.
And I like seeing her in lingerie. I like seeing her in dresses. I like seeing her naked. And you know, the universe blessed my wife. Why not just flaunt it wherever and whenever she can? That's the way I see it, and that's it. And I'm not an insecure person like that, so I really don't care.
See, that goes back to not giving a fuck what other people think.
I don't care what other people think. I don't
care what other people think. They're not me.
I never care.
I'm not them.
I literally never care. That's a good thing about me. I literally never care. Right, next. Okay, so that's the questions done. Next, this is the final phase. So this is the
marriage.
the final phase is
growing
obviously
all together.
Yeah. So what is it? This is the long-term goal.
Mm-hmm.
Long-term goal is obviously family, marriage, traveling the world, like the whole world.
If you're into that.
If you're into that, buying a house.
Yep.
All stuff that takes time to do. Does that make
Starting
sense?
a family. And all
Starting
that.
a family, yeah.
I've got something in my eye.
After a successful midterm goal, so for example, me and Natalie, 9 years worth of work, it's a roller coaster. I always say this to Natalie, it will always be a roller coaster. It will never run smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing runs smooth because
I wouldn't want it to.
Neither would I. But the universe is perfectly imperfect. Everything just a lot of the time it won't go as planned. Okay. And at the end of the day, if that period goes well, that's when you go to the next period, and then you start to prioritize. What do you want more? Do you want a family more than a house? Do you want a house more than a family? Depends what you want.
To travel.
Do you want to travel as well? Because remember, you can't have like
career.
because one thing might a house or a family may cost money, which means that you won't be able to travel as much.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to prioritize traveling, and then prioritize a house, and then bring children into that house, or do you want to have children and
then buy a house?
And then buy a house. Look,
wait till they get older, then travel.
I want to say something right now, because there's no correct way to do it.
Exactly.
There's only how you want to do it. Simple
Agreed.
as.
Agreed.
And I think that concludes it in a nutshell. We could go on about this all day.
There was one more topic that I brought up over there on the sofa before we started.
Go on, what was that?
And that's the TV shows, the dating TV shows.
Or what, like to get experience without actually throwing yourself in the deep end. Basically, you said before, right? Because you were saying before that if you really want a relationship, right?
Yeah.
You log into podcasts like this is something you can do and talk to a relationship that actually works.
Right.
You can watch TV programs that are reality TV show about relationships and learn people's behavior patterns.
For example, Married at First Sight is totally extreme. To just get married to someone you've never met before that's been, scientifically matched with you. It's a very interesting social experiment. And sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes it's not going to work. Sometimes you'll learn new things about, if you're in that situation, you're going to learn new things about yourself that you didn't realise before, which will then open your eyes to maybe another relationship. By
looking at somebody else's situation that happened to
someone else. I'm talking about if you were in that situation. But yeah, and obviously viewing it, you might be like one of these people on the TV.
Yeah.
I might be like one of the girls and be like, I would not have done that. And you're like, wait a minute, I kind of act like that, but I would have done it how she done it, so I'm never going to do that again.
It's true. And there's loads of different shows that you can watch. You got, and remember, it doesn't have to be the classic show. It's about human interactions.
It's true.
It's about how do people interact with each other when they're trying to either A, get in a relationship, or B, get laid.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're watching them on TV, you've got it from a safe distance. You're not in it yourself. You can watch people and be like, wow, this guy's a proper douche, or this woman's she's a scumbag. Does that make sense? So you can sort of categorize people and be like, I would never want to be in a relationship with her or him.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And you might see those behaviour traits in someone that you're dating, or someone you go on a date with, and be like, okay, not sure. I'm going to keep an eye on that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's like the ones for casual dating. You've got the Love Island. You've got your Too Hot to Handle.
Yeah.
There's that other one on MTV where they don't know if they're actually matches or not.
Yeah.
And then you got Married at First Sight and Love is Blind.
What about Is it Sexy Beast?
Sexy Beast. If you've not seen it on Netflix, it is the funniest.
Watch that. Sexy Beast is all about personality. It's literally is two personalities meet. Don't get me wrong, physically you can roughly see, but you can't see the face.
Physique-wise, yeah.
You can't see the face, okay? So really it's just two people's personalities and that's how you really... And then sometimes people are like, wow, I didn't expect you to look like that. But I really got along with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes to show you that sometimes the guidelines you have, you need to review them, I say monthly, but review them yearly at least. Like, don't have these strict guidelines that are keeping you maybe out of a relationship because they're too strict.
Open your eyes. Be open.
Because remember, it's all about finding somebody to travel, to go through life with.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And there's also another one of our favourites is Love on the spectrum.
Love on the spectrum and undateable. So I know people
And
be like,
undateables.
yeah. I mean, these people that have is it autism?
Autism.
But you really see. I think it's innocence.
I feel like this is the purest form of love. Because they are just so open and innocent.
Yeah.
And there's nothing devious like about them. There's no ulterior motives. They're just looking for love. Literally looking for love.
No, it's true. And people and when you see that, you start to realise things as well.
When you see how excited they are,
about
how open they are,
yeah.
how polite they are as well. It's like, would you mind if I gave you a hug? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah, totally.
It's so. Do you know what? It's the most beautiful show ever.
It is. We get emotional. I mean, we get emotional about a lot of things. I think we're getting old. So that's the first marriage bed. We're calling it the marriage bed because it's supposed to be a podcast.
It was, yeah. But it's nice to have like a little name for our.
Yeah. So for now, we're gonna do it like this.
Live show. It's a live show.
It is a live show. It might change outfits and angles, but
listen,
we're gonna have like a
he wants a jingle and everything. So if you've got any music, if any of you are musically talented, and you could come up with like a little jingle for us or something, then just email me. The email is in my bio. Send me the little jingle, and we'll showcase some, won't we?
Right. Let me check if there's any.
He does this often. I'll say something to him, and he'll ignore me. Or he'll hear me and he'll answer in his head, but not verbally, so I don't know if he's heard me or not.
Shout out to Amy, man. Amy's live.
What's she saying?
She was saying your face, which I'm assuming was to the toilet seat thing, and then she said, gotta love Frankie. Thanks, Amy.
Listen, Amy, you don't have to live with him with that bloody toilet seat.
Yeah. I'm sure that they can get along. This was fantastic, guys. Appreciate it. Fantastic, man. I hope it was a little bit helpful as well.
Yeah.
It's nice to have some realness up here on these socials. And
did you catch up?
Maybe I did. I catched that. I caught up. Sorry, catched up. Wow. I caught up. Yeah. So yeah, it's fantastic. That's it.
That is it.
Until the next one.
I don't know when the next one's going to be. Maybe in a couple of weeks or something.
Yeah, maybe in a couple of weeks.
I'm not sure what the theme is going to be either, but I will let you guys know beforehand, like I did today.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. We'll change the theme every week, or we'll try to do it every week, but we've got a busy next 2 weeks, so we probably won't be able to do it in the next 2 weeks.
That's why I said in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. It's a good one. I like that. Smooth.
You're so funny. Right, we're going to go and order a pizza.
I'm starving.
No, you're not starving.
That's
this is something else we're going to do.
We're both foodies. This is important. Me and Natalie are both foodies.
We're both foodies. So we will throw that word starving around left, right and centre. We really shouldn't.
We said when stop saying that we're starving because we're not starving. We've never been starving. And it's disrespectful.
It is
That's
disrespectful.
just us getting old, guys. We're getting old, so therefore we don't want to offend people, and we understand that certain
we want to be
things,
very mindful.
Being mindful of other people's feelings.
So you're not starving. What are you?
I am hungry. I'm not even hungry, to be honest.
I'm ravenous.
But I want a pizza. I don't care.
A large cheese pizza. Okay, so we're gonna go and have a pizza. It was lovely talking to you guys. Stay tuned to my story to find out when the next marriage bed is. I'm thinking maybe we'll talk about social media. Yeah. That might get a little bit deep.
It's a good one. Yeah, social media is because there's so many different angles. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Social media. Yeah. And I also want to talk about space as well and like flat earth and stuff, but that might be another one.
Flat earthers don't want me to get onto them. I'll get onto you lot.
I hope everyone has a lovely weekend and we'll see you soon.